I'm in the middle of this nightmare, and I see this application, and I see the 1099.
Right.
What letter?
Next page.
This letter
Yeah.
is supposed to come to me?
It would come to you from Social Security before the year begins. It would come from you in November of 16. You would have gotten a letter from about. Huh? It's not Social Security. They send the letters for Medicare.
I'm supposed to have gotten it.
Yeah. If you didn't, we could just do the 1099.
This is a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah. That's why we talk about it and we try to let everybody know.
I'm still in a nightmare.
Okay. Question?
In May, I turned 65, went on, so when do I?
Okay. Question was, he turned 65 in May,
May?
and you took Social Security.
No, I took Medicare.
You took Medicare, not Social Security. Okay. If you're not taking Social Security, you will not get a 1099. What you need to provide is a copy of the monthly billing statement and proof of payment. If you became Medicare eligible this year, 2018, I will send an email out in mid-January with the 2018 cover sheet, and then you can start sending the stuff in.
Now, they want a copy of the checks for everything I've paid. Listen to me, I'm paying like you have no idea.
No,
Anyway, they want a copy of the checks. So I went to for everything I paid for Medicare. So I went to my bank. My bank said, oh, we don't have those checks. We have a statement that says you paid it. It's an electronic check. I purposely paid with a check.
Right.
Physical.
They will, they want proof of payment. If you can send the page from the bank statement that shows your electronic check, that's fine.
And
That's fine.
that I send with all of this.
That and the billing statement, yes.
So January, you're gonna send us?
January, I'm going to send you the 2018 claim form.
Okay.
So for
Fill it
what?
out and send copies of it.
And then fill it out and send it back with billing statement, copies of the payment, or the 1099. That's for 2018, right. If you haven't sent a copy of your Medicare card in, they won't do the IRMA because they have to do the standard first. That's one of the things sometimes we find out. So, the other thing, those who have been on Medicare for a while, you're getting new Medicare cards, right? Good. Keep it in your pocket. Don't send in a copy. It'll just make them crazy. Now, I don't mind making them crazy, but when but we make them crazy over that, they can't help us out with something else. So they've asked that we tell them, just because you get a new Medicare, they know. In fact, if you're new to Medicare now with these new cards, there's yet another form you got to fill out because they don't know that Doug Hathaway ABC 123 is Doug Hathaway, whatever my Social Security number is. You thought I was going to give it up, I didn't. So there is a cover sheet, but you don't have to sign that. We can fill that out for you. Yes, sir.
Do you do the same thing for a spouse when
Yes.
they turn 65?
Yes.
Send it to you.
Same thing for the spouse. When your spouse, if the spouse is covered by you and you're providing the benefits, the spouse is entitled to Medicare reimbursement of the standard and the IRMA. Do the same thing. Send me a copy of the Medicare card, but if you're sending it for a spouse and your last name is Smith, tell me which Smith it goes with. I got 150 Smiths. And if the spouse isn't the member, I don't know which of the 75 male Smiths, and I'm making an assumption, I'm sorry, but I don't know who the spouse goes with. Just put a sticky on it and say, I'm the member, whatever. Because before, with Social Security number on it, we could maybe find it in the system, but I got no way of finding who it is now.
So when we send in the next thing for Irma, we should send in on a copy of...
No. If you've already submitted a copy of your Medicare card, forget about it.
Even if it's the old...
Yeah, even if it's the old one, that's fine. They don't need the new one. They only need the card when you first become Medicare eligible. Okay? They check a little box on your record, and then, like magic, in April, money shows up in your account. And that's a great improvement because they used to do paper checks in August. And when de Blasio took over and brought in a whole new crowd in labor relations, Guess what happened? All of a sudden, they started getting standard Medicare checks being returned, undeliverable. When they sent them out, or whoever processed it for them, on the envelope said, "Do not forward." So how many New York City retirees, do you think, have a permanent address in Florida, live there, and make sure they're there for 181 days a year, and spend the summer up in cooler New York? In previous years, the check would go to Delray. Eventually, it would come to the New York forwarding address. But when it says "do not forward," they legally can't do it. So like 10,000 of these checks show up. And they're telling us, "No, we need to change of address." We say, "No, you don't." And that was a kerfuffle. So part of that experience is part of why it's now done by direct deposit. They interface, they get the account numbers, they match them up with TRS or with payroll OPA that actually sends out the pension information. And the money just shows up automatically. It's very cryptic. It says Part B, whatever, because they only have one line to put it on. You know, they can't do a whole big long thing. But the money will be there. It'll be over $1,000 if you were Medicare eligible for all of the year. And it comes out of sequence. You know, it doesn't come when your normal pension allocation does. It comes at a different time. Now, I have a number of people who over the years have said, "I never got my money." So we go to the city. "Oh yeah, it was directly deposited on April 21st. "Oh, okay. Well, I don't know, but if I'm looking at my bank account, and I got, for myself and my wife, I got $2,600 in there, I might notice that." Yeah, again, 1%. You know, 2,600, yeah, chump change. Excuse me. So that's Medicare, that's IRMA. I'm going to give you an assignment. And no, I'm not Matt Damon. Just I'm getting over some kind of analogy. I gave it to my wife, and I don't want to be coughing your brains off. In the back, on the left, there's something we call the Survivor's Information Guide. One of the things that the chapter staff do, some of the regional units do, we do an awful lot in our office, is we deal with a new surviving spouse. You're a survivor. And quite often what we get through the sorrow is, he or she did everything. What do I do? Well, this is a place to record some of that important information so that those you leave behind will know what to do. So we'll go through this a little bit and I'll tell you a personal story. I often get a survivor on the phone, and the survivor, in this case it was a woman, she goes, "Yeah, he left me a list of everything that I should do, a checklist. She says, I'm down to the one where he told me to call you. What are you supposed to tell me to do?" And it's like, well, yeah, I wish I could tell you what, but so this is the way to get started. Most important call that your survivor would make, especially if you have an option on your pension where the survivor gets the pop-up or whatever, the first call is TRS. There's some paperwork that has to be filled out. So you need to get the paperwork from TRS, send them back an original death certificate. Well, where's TRS? The phone number's here. 1-800 whatever TRS. NYC TRS. And so then it's the most important one because that's probably where the bulk of income is coming. TRS is a New York City bureaucracy that makes the Department of Education look efficient. Need I say more? It could take 3, 4, 5 months for them to go through and recalculate this. What they're gonna do is, they're gonna look and say, okay, Doug Hathaway passed away. Now, I'm gonna be real ornery, and I'm not gonna die on the 1st or the 31st. I'm gonna die on the 15th. So what they're gonna do is come in and they're gonna claw back the money for that month and recalculate the pension. Because it would be 15 days with Doug alive and 15 days with no Doug. So it's a different amount for the first 15 days than for the last 15. So they're going to claw the money back, they're going to come up with this calculation, and then they're going to put the money back. Now, if you wait 6 months to tell TRS, they're going to try to get 6 months worth of money back out of the account. Probably nobody has 6 months worth of income in an account anymore, though we are the 0.1%, I understand. So you want to let them know. If things take more than a couple of 3 months, you let us know, you let Mark know in the retiree chapter, and he has contacts that will push things through. But that's the most important thing, if you do that with TRS. The second thing we have on here is the contact labor relations. We probably should get rid of that, put them at the end, because you can contact us and we can do what they would do for you. You also want to let Social Security know, because Social Security needs to stop any payments being made to the person who passed away. Oh, there she is. Say hi. You didn't know you were going to get ambushed, right?
Hello everyone, how are you? Hello. It is great to say hello to you and to welcome you here because you do such great work. And you probably say, what am I talking about? You are really mentors to all of us. We've seen the things that you've done for us and we're just grateful to you. And Doug, thank you for all that you're doing. And I was just stepping in to just say hello, like kind of like around, but hello everyone, how are you? Take care.
Thanks. Rosemary is, what are you, first vice president?
Yeah.
First vice president of CSA, and she was out probably in the school somewhere today, so thank you.
Really school meeting.
Have a bagel.
Okay.
You want to let Social Security know because they need to stop paying Social Security benefits. Where I live in Nassau County,